What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Miss Grad Girl. So today we're going to talk about the Praxis Core and how to pass it. Hopefully on the first try. Okay, so how did I pass the Praxis Core? What I do in these videos is I talk very conversationally about what I did and how I got to where I was at. What I suggest you do is look in the description box for the timestamps. I will do my best to timestamp everything to make it more effective for you, so you don't have to go through the whole video if you don't want to. The first thing that I did to pass the Praxis Core was I went to the website and I downloaded the PDF for the Praxis Core, or the Praxis I, if that's how you refer to it. Now, after I did that, I opened it up to the part, and I'll show you. I actually have a binder here, and what I did for every test that I took, now I didn't do this the very first time, but after I got, once I knew this was going to be a career, I made a binder, and every time I had a test, I would print out the PDF that they give you for it. So within this PDF, there is it's called the Study Companion. One of the things that it does is it gives you, let's see if I can, it's kind of dark, or it's kind of bright, but it gives you a graph. And so in this graph, if it will adjust, whoop, and it sort of doesn't. Okay, anyway, I'll just tell you about it. So the graph, it tells you how many questions are on the test. It's going to tell you how many of those questions relate to a certain subject, and then from there you can kind of break it down like that. So it tells you whether there's multiple choice, it tells you whether there's an essay question. So like this one was for my art content knowledge that I took, and it was 2 hours, 120 questions, and there were no open response, which was awesome. Thank you. Okay, anyway. And then it goes on to tell you, like, of the categories, which was art making and historical and theoretical foundations. It'll tell you, like, there's going to be 15 general questions and 60 art and media. I do not have the core PDF anymore. I took the core right when I was accepted into my master's, so in like 2015, so about 3 years ago, so I didn't keep it. I've moved houses, but I've kept everything since then. And anyway, so the whole point of showing you that was that there are these study guides in here. And what they do is they go through every category, and you can use those to create your own study guide. So that is what I did. Now, like I said, I know this isn't the core one, and I apologize for that. I just didn't want to waste trees printing out a new one. Maybe I'll like insert, maybe I can film it on the iPad and insert it. But basically, it looks like this. If it'll adjust, ooh. It's so bright in here today. Oh, you can kind of see it like that. But basically, there are categories, and within those categories, and then it says, it has like bullet points. So the next bullet point is a sentence about knows and understands the elements, and then underneath that, it has 3 more levels that you need to know about. So that is kind of how the study guide goes. And based on that, I actually put my core into a Google Drive. I just copied that whole part of the PDF, which was super annoying, but it was worth it in the end, because you might know when you copy a PDF that it kind of has like weird line breaks, so I did have to fix that. But in the end, I was able to then paste all the answers that I found online underneath those bullet points, so that was really useful. So what did I make on this? Let's see. I got a 200 in reading, which I think is the highest you can get. I think you can only get 200. A 180 in writing, and a 174 in math, which this doesn't have on here what the passing is. I am pretty sure that in Arkansas, the passing score for math was 153 or 152, because the first time I took it, I think I got like a 150. So I missed it by like 3 points. I would have passed the whole thing the first time. And I was so devastated. But math is a really weak subject for me. So that happened. But like I said, the other stuff obviously worked. And then the next thing I did, so after I made the study guide, I have some notes over here. I want to make sure I tell you everything. So the things that I used to study besides the study guide was I used Quizlet. If you haven't heard of Quizlet, you're really missing out. There's a lot of good core stuff on there. All you have to do is search the test number. So you would type in Praxis test 5082. I'm so sorry I don't know any of the numbers. I'll try to put them up. I'll look them up whenever I do this. And that brings up all these Quizlets. And actually, I think you can find mine. It's under my old name, Amber Harris. Now I'm Amber Harness because I got married. But it won't let me log in. So if you ask for permissions to get to it, I can't unlock it for some reason. Darn you, Quizlet. But there are tons of Quizlets that you can click on and use. And that was what I did. And most of them were really good. A lot of them had questions that were on the test. So just make sure that you use Quizlet. It's a really good resource. And even if you don't use Quizlet for yourself, like for your, like to read the flashcards from other people, use it for yours. Go in there and do that, because flashcards really are a great way to like increase your memorization. So the next thing that I did was I watched YouTube videos, which seems so weird, I guess, but it was the only thing I could think of at the time that maybe I could search out other people, which is a big reason I'm making this channel, is to give out that information. So I found a lot of weird spammy stuff. You know, you always see like weird stuff from like Mometrics, which I'm not hating on them. I don't think that they are bad in any way, but their videos for me were not that helpful. They did give me some extra questions that I could use and kind of add to like my arsenal that I was studying, but otherwise, like those kind of videos I didn't find as much value in. Now I did run across a YouTuber, and I will do my best to, I think it was Beauty in the Briefcase is their username, and I'm not sure if they're still active or not, but they were the one that I came across for some other later on. They had a really good video about how they got ready for the Praxis, so I'll definitely link them in the description because they were a big help for me. The other thing that I would suggest is Teachers A to Z. It's a forum-based website. It is technically for teachers, however they have a large forum devoted to professional exams, like not just the Praxis, but also the GRE and other things, and for different states. So that was really useful. I used that for my history and my art exams, and I was able to get such good information. They have maybe not study guides, but they have resource guides, so things that you can use to get the answers that you need, because they are bound by Praxis and the law to not give out those resources. So it's really useful though, because you can use it and you can find the answers that you need without struggling. They already have it all linked, especially for the core. It's such a basic test. When I was looking for history, there was stuff, but it wasn't as good as the core, and their English is pretty good, but still I think there are maybe some better resources, but for the grammar, it was amazing. So I definitely suggest checking it out. So, you know, I missed the math by a point the first time. I went back, I studied my weak area, which was geometry, which I knew it was going to be. I was weak in it in high school. And when I came back, I was able to jump like 10 points. So, or no, like 20 points. So, because I went from like 150 to 172. So, what I would suggest is if you do fail the test, it sucks. I know, you gotta pay the money. You have to do another exam, and it sucks. I took all three of mine at the same time because I just want to get them out of the way. However, it may be more beneficial to you if you want to study more per exam to take them separately, so that you don't have to just go in and take a 3-hour exam all at once. For me, that was... I enjoyed that experience more, not because it was fun, but because I was able to get it over with and just see where I was. At that point, I had no idea what I would score. I had no idea what I was doing. So if you just want to get in and just see what happens, I mean, maybe you will pass on the first try, then do it. However, if you come out and you've missed something, look at what it gives you. When it sends you your stuff back, I'd show you, but it'll just glare out. You get a result and passing status form on Praxis, and it gives you the name of the test. So on the core, it'll give you the 3 different tests. It's getting very shiny in here. What happens if I turn one of these? Well, did that help at all? The sun is coming out. Oh. Maybe. Does that help? Is that better? I look like a washed out squash. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that. We'll cut that out. Let's put it at the end. Okay, anyway, so it takes the 3 tests that you're in and lists them all separately and then tells you what you got in each category. So that was epic for me because I actually scored really good in the other math categories on there. But my geometry, I actually only got like 2 questions, which made sense. I tried so hard to study the equations, but it just didn't work. So, you know, when you know your weakness and you can see that in the post results, use that to your advantage, because once you know what your weakness is, all you have to do is up that and you're doing great. Okay, other things that I would suggest besides what I've already said, I would suggest resources like Kaplan. Kaplan, I think it's just kaplan.com, is a wonderful visual video library for all kinds of subjects. I've never heard anything negative about it. I actually used it. My husband's sister was struggling with the math on the Praxis, and so we actually went in and looked at the core study guide for math, and it suggested the actual Praxis, ets.org suggested that you go to ETS and you use their Praxis math. It would like link to each one of the individuals, and it was really useful because then you could do the thing, test yourself, and if you did fine, then you would just move on, and it was really great. The next thing is study.com, and I'm going to put up a video about this because study.com feels very scamish. Very much like, it seems like it's just going to steal your money and your whole bank account, and I was super nervous. The first time I tried it, it actually wouldn't work, and I was like, it's a scam! And I'll talk more about that later. And then, the other thing, the big thing is, if you want to spend money on test books, then, go ahead. They do have really good tests within them. They've been curated by the Praxis, and, they're there. They're good. They wouldn't be on the shelves if they were terrible. However, there are so many things on the internet. So there are these communities. On Tumblr, it's called StudyBlur. On Instagram, it's called StudyGram. On YouTube, it's called StudyTube. All of these places have awesome resources. They're mostly for high school students, but if you're here for the professional exam, what I would suggest you do is look for like Google Praxis PDF, and a year. If you want extra practice, because the ACT is, it includes geometry. Yeah, that's the word. It includes geometry. So if you use that, you could definitely find old ACTs. When I went looking, I think I had like 10 or 11 old released PDFs of just like official ACT test prep. So if you're just looking for tests to take, maybe do that before you spend money. But if you're an adult and you really just want to pass the first time, you have a lot of money invested, you're older, this is your job, you're not just, a college student, I might put out the money. I have only ever bought one book, and I bought it in a bout of panic, and it wasn't really that useful. So I don't suggest buying books unless like a friend has it and they're just gonna let you borrow it. Sure, yeah, why not have the extra resource? But for me, I've never found value in the books. I've always found the study guide to be so much better. But maybe that's just a difference in study technique. So, I went through the Teacher A to Z resources, and I found someone talking about you could figure out if it was a multiple choice test how much or how many questions you had to pass or get right in order to pass the test. Okay, so what I found out was that you only have to pass like 25 or 30 questions of the 60 on the math to pass. And that gives you like a passing score. It's like a really neat equation. If I can find the website, I'll try to link it below. It's older, it doesn't work for everything, but it is a good guesstimate of what you're gonna get. However, on these tests, you don't really have to worry about it because multiple choice tests never really change their score when you get your official. It's the written ones that you have to worry about because whenever you get that, they used to give you a score. I don't think they do it anymore because people were sort of like doing this and like guessing if they were going to pass or not. Used to, you would get your score for your multiple choice and then you would have your response and you wouldn't get a score for that, obviously. Now I don't think they give you that, but you always get a score for your multiple choice. So I think it was reading was multiple choice, math was multiple choice, and writing had the short response. Because I remember I knew that I'd passed 2 of them, and I spent all my time, or I knew I'd passed 1 and not the other. And I spent all my time just worried about the writing, which I didn't even need to be because I ended up getting like awesome score on it. So finally, this is the end. I know you're like, thank God. Arkansas is actually considering, that's where I'm from Arkansas. Represent. Actually, this is not my jacket. It's my husband's. So Arkansas is considering at most of its colleges to now accept the ACT with a score of 19 or better in math and reading. And right now, in the current year of our Lord and Savior, 2018, you just have to take the writing. You don't actually have to like get a certain score. They are using this year as the basis to create a line. So what that means is that you, this year is being used to create the, the threshold, I guess, that you have to pass for the future. So people this year are kind of lucky. They don't have to like hit a certain, number. They just have to take it. This is happening at Arkansas Tech. It's happening, I believe, at U of A. And I assume anything that happens at U of A will happen at UCA. The colleges all sort of, they connect, they follow each other in that way. But for sure at Arkansas Tech, which is a really popular college, they are now using the ACT. And next year, I believe they're not doing the core at all, unless like you're a transfer and you already have it, blah, blah, blah. So they're also doing this thing where they are, instead of making you take the Praxis, they're contemplating at a lot of places to just have college algebra with a score of a B or better and English Comp 1 and 2 with a score of a B or better as the prerequisite for their stuff. So, I'm not sure how all that happens in terms of like licensing. I guess maybe they're changing rules in that way so that you don't have to have the core in order to take the Praxis II. You technically can take the Praxis II if you want to first. Nobody does because they tell you like you need your core. But I mean, I don't think Praxis is checking it. So anyway, that's how I passed the core. This was a lot of talking. I hope I gave you a lot of good stuff. I'll try to include all kinds of resources in the bottom. And I guess my ending message is just keep trying. If you're having a bad time, I really hope that these resources help you. And hopefully you can figure out kind of what it is that's keeping you from scoring as high as you want to. Sometimes it's just as simple as not utilizing some of the features available to you, like the review button. I'll talk about that in a later video. But I just really hope that you guys do your best, and I hope you pass. And for all my future teachers out there and the ones that are already teaching, more power to you. I'm so proud that someone is doing this. I hope to join you someday when I get licensed. So, out. See you guys later. Bye. Future Amber here. I'm actually recording another video, but I just thought about the Praxis AC blah blah blah. Oh my gosh, I already messed up. I've just started. Future Amber here. One of the things that I forgot to say was the Praxis has online tests that you can download. They only are good for like one exam because the questions are just the same. They are worth it. A lot of times the questions on there you see on the actual exam. I don't know how they get away with that. It seems like that would be like wrong, but do it. Do those. Okay, that's